suspects accused of shooting and killing a South Florida rapper XXXTentaction during a robbery in 2018 were back in court today as prosecutors and defense attorneys both prepare to present their cases.
There have been many curious things that have happened in the rap world over the years, and some of them still remain unsolved. The really interesting parts, though, are when people come forward and make claims about what might be happening and what has happened, and we have to decipher whether it's true or not.
So there were several more motions made today, including one that would have ordered the rapper Drake to come in for a deposition.
As part of our defense, we absolutely have a right to present evidence before the jury of other individuals who were angry at Mr. Onfroy.
For example, the death of XXXTentacion was a sad time in the rap world. He was so full of promise and life, and then it was snuffed out in a robbery. That event happened years ago, and yet in 2022, some new eyewitnesses were requested for the trial of the killers, including Drake. We'll break it down for you, but before we do that, go ahead and do us a favor by leaving a like on the video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the bell icon so you never miss an upload from us. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. Do you want to win an iPhone 12, maybe a MacBook Pro? How about $500 cash? All you have to do is comment the secret hidden message somewhere in this video. That's it. Oh, and leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so we can keep affording these giveaways. Winner will be announced at the last day of each month. Thanks for watching and good luck. Number 5, new witnesses.
3 men accused of rapper XXXTentacion watching on Tuesday as their attorneys made pre-trial motions to the judge.
What do we have the eve before trial that would substantiate this extraordinary relief that's being asked for?
Multiple rappers, including Drake and all 3 members of the group Migos, have been added to the list of possible witnesses in the upcoming trial against one of the 4 men charged in the shooting death of XXXTentacion. That's pretty odd, wouldn't you agree? The defense for one of 4 men charged in the murder case filed the list of 30 new possible witnesses in December.
The rapper, whose real name was Jose Onfroy, was murdered in June 2018 as he was trying to leave Riva Motorsports in Deerfield Beach. In total, 4 men were arrested.
And the prosecution responded the following day, pointing out that one of the men on the list died in November. XXXTentacion, whose real name was Jose Dwayne Onfroy, was a 20-year-old rising star in June 2018 when suspects rushed up to his car and shot him outside a Deerfield Beach motorcycle shop. He died later in a Fort Lauderdale hospital. 4 men were later charged in the case, and 2 of them were arrested.
Robert Allen, Dedrick Williams, Trayvon Newsom, and Michael Boatwright. Allen pled guilty to second-degree murder in August last year, but the other 3 are getting set to stand trial for first-degree murder.
22-year-old Michael Boatwright and 22-year-old Dedrick D. Williams, who both face first-degree murder charges. Trayvon Newsom, age 20, and Robert Allen, age 22, have also been charged in the case.
And on Tuesday, Williams' attorney asked the judge to order Aubrey Graham, better known as Drake, and his friend Livingston Allen to sit down for a deposition about their feud with Onfroy.
30 new names were added to the list of possible witnesses in Williams' trial, which is set to start January 9th, 2023 in Broward County, in a filing by the defense on December 13th. On the list are rappers Drake, Tekashi 6ix9ine, Joe Budden, and members of the rap trio Migos, Quavo, Offset, and Takeoff. However, Takeoff was shot and killed at a Houston bowling alley in November. Documents filed by the prosecution December 14th note that Takeoff was deceased and should not be included on the list.
This is one of the biggest celebrities in the world. Excluding an order from this court, we all know that I will never be able to take his deposition.
In the end, the judge did not grant the motion, but did say the attorney could call both men for a deposition.
The prosecution said in its filing that the defense's late disclosure of the defendant's witnesses and comments made between the parties and defendants intended to surprise the state and create a trial by ambush. The defense's list of new possible witnesses did not provide information about why each person might be helpful for defending Dedrick Williams in the case, which is odd because you want people to know why you're calling people to the stand, and yet they didn't, which is why many people suspect that some shenanigans are going on here. Number 4, testimony. When it comes to asking for witnesses to prove someone's innocence, you desire someone who can clearly state why someone didn't do what they're accused of. For example, in the death of X, you'd expect the defense to pull out witnesses who could prove or try to prove that Dedrick Williams wasn't involved in what happened. Yet here the defense is pulling out some big rappers in the game, and 6ix9ine. It would have been reported by now if any of these rappers were in the area or on the scene when everything went down. So what possible reason could they have to bring everyone in? Some are thinking it's to call into question the character of the late rapper. After all, many of these new witnesses had beef with him while he was alive. Some people on Instagram noted that when they heard the news. I don't know if anyone remembers, but Migos and X beefed like in person, like they literally physically fought. Ski Mask was also there. Drake also had beef with X because X kept saying Drake copied a melody. I don't know. I just find it weird since his death looked like an execution. I always felt like Drake or Migos had something to do with it. Trying to make the deceased rapper seem guilty in any way could help the defense if they prove anything meaningful. But if you have to call into question the tactics because you could argue that anyone can be bad to the right person, it's more of a question of whether he did anything to instigate things that led to his death. By all accounts, he didn't, which makes the calling of these witnesses even more suspect.
And that he would reconsider the order if they refused to show up. Then the state brought several of their own motions, including one that prevented defense attorneys from targeting Onfroy's character.
None of that is relevant. Mr. Onfroy is the victim here.
Are they so desperate to shift blame that they'll bring in people from the late rapper's past to berate him? We know 6ix9ine won't have an issue in doing that if he's called on the stand, but that's just because he has no shame. Number 3, the death of X. To reinforce why it's odd that these witnesses are being called, let's recap the events of the young rapper's death. The event itself happened in June 2018, when X was out and about in Florida around the spot of his home. He went to a motorcycle shop and came out of the dealership in a BMW when he was suddenly followed by a dark SUV. He was robbed, and though he tried to cooperate with the thieves, they decided to not leave him alive. Though the police and an ambulance made it to him, he passed away in the hospital hours later. The following statement was given about the loss of X. On June 18, 2018, Jose Onfroy, known worldwide as XXXTentaction, tragically passed away in Deerfield, Florida. The statement begins, "In deference to his family, friends, and loved ones, and in light of further investigation, we ask that their privacy is respected at this time. XXXTentacion touched the lives of millions around the globe and will forever reside in the hearts of countless fans who listened to his music, attended his concerts, and felt the glow of his uncontainable, undeniable, and unique spirit." The loss of X was massive to the rap world at large. Some were even crushed by the event, not wanting to believe that this had actually happened. The rap world from all tiers sent love and praise to their fallen brother, and many decided to bury themselves inside his music to hold on to the faint embers of his life. In fact, some people were so distraught over what happened to him that they started to wonder if he was actually dead. Number 2, the signs.
So jury selection was supposed to begin tomorrow, but they have delayed it until next Wednesday.
When you're convinced that something isn't right, you look into the past to try and find signs that something indeed was up. For the death of X, people looked at his social media posts for any clues as to why things might not be as they appear. Before his passing, X went to Instagram and made a message that has given a lot of people chills since then. If worst thing comes to worst and I die or some shit, and I'm not able to see out my dreams, I at least want to know that kids perceived my message and were able to make something of themselves and be able to take my message and use it and turn it into something positive and to at least have a good life. He said in the clip, "If I'm gonna pass or ever be a sacrifice, I want to make sure that my life made at least 5 million kids happy, or they found some sort of answers or resolve in my life regardless of the negative around my name, regardless of the bad things people say to me." Plus, there's something his attorney said not long after the incident. He noted that he actually asked the rapper to beef up his security detail. We talked about him needing security, that he was past the point of being a kid making melodies on a street corner. Sadly, he didn't take that security, and thus his death was almost a certainty when the theft happened. Number 1. What does it all mean? That's the question. What does all this mean? Well, we really don't know, and that's what makes it so baffling. There's no real reason to call in people like Migos, Drake, and 6ix9ine to testify at a trial that doesn't concern them. And truthfully, it doesn't matter what X did in his past prior to the theft and death. It matters that his killers went from just robbing him to taking his life. So if they're trying to prove the late rapper was a bad person or something to that effect, it's not going to matter, because they were still the ones that took his life. And there you have it, everyone. A look at everything that's going on with the upcoming case that features the killers of XXXTentacion and whether the new witnesses are going to add anything to the proceedings outside of confusion. Do you think that there's anything meaningful that these rappers are going to add to the trial? Or is this all a front to make the victim seem like the bad guy? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.